I know it's not the best video. It's not the, you know, making 2,300 in a day and all. It's not all that, but it is the thing that will make a difference. It is the thing that will change and help you develop as a trader, become a professional. Often have negative beliefs. We often have things that we may do, or things that we may say, or things we may feel that may bring those negative actions back to us. So when we move to Texas, we believe, hey, all those things are in the past. We completely detach from it. It's nothing there. We're going to be good. Things are going to change. And you realize that the life that you wish for, you are currently having, but you're still not happy. You realize that the life that you're hoping for or working towards, you think that's going to make you happy, but it's actually not. And now we're going to be talking about the book Master Your Emotions, and I have not finished this book yet. As you can see, we are about halfway through. It's actually 2 sections to it. There is a specific portion of this book that I really love where it talks about fixing emotional issues. And as traders, as people, as brothers, sisters, auntie, uncles, whatever you is, husband, wife, these things that we deal with, we need to be able to go back on our beliefs. We need to go back on the things that we deal with and figure out why we deal with them. Most of the issues that we deal with, people, everything is temporary and this too shall pass. But when it comes to these beliefs, these emotions, these negative feelings that we have as traders specifically, we need to deal with those things or they will be reflected in the market. So in this video today, we're going to be talking about this book, but mainly a specific area where we can learn how to actually take those beliefs, take those emotional issues, figure out what we've been telling ourselves, figure out what we need to tell ourselves in order to be better, and then continue to develop as people. This, I know it's not the best video. It's not the, making 2,300 in a day and all. It's not all that, but it is the thing that will make a difference. It is the thing that will change and help you develop as a trader, become a professional. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, because we do have a goal to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If you haven't already, do that. Welcome to the fam. Enjoy the video. Let's get into it. The reason I've been reading this book is because I am someone that always wants to understand why I feel something and why I'm dealing with something. Today, I'm not going to cut this video up or anything. I want to talk about the raw emotions that I feel as a trader, as a human being, as divine. I want to talk about things that a lot of you may be feeling and these emotions that come across us, and how we can actually develop and change and become the person that we want to become, achieve the things that we want to achieve. More than likely, most people don't actually tell us what we should or shouldn't be doing in the sense of how to better ourselves. Everybody says, hey, be in control of your emotions, master yourself, focus on yourself, conquer yourself, develop yourself, change your identity, become that version of you, but they don't teach you how. They don't show you exactly what to do and how. And me, I pick up books to understand. And I pick up these books because I want to know why my past actually affects me today. I want to know what the things that happened in the past, currently, whatever it is, the things that are to come, how they can affect me and how I can prevent them and create the life I want, the life that I'm looking forward to. I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ and the things that he can do for us, but I also believe in the universe. I believe in the energy that we put out. I also believe in the things that we do for others will always come back to us. And when you sense and feel these kind of emotions, more than likely the negativity that you're putting out, the ego that you're putting out, the fear that you're putting out, these things come back to bite us. So in the book, it talked about the emotional issues. And I know, guys, this may not be the video you want to watch. It may not be, but I'm telling you, these things help you. And I'm not here to show all the profits and show all these things. And I rarely want to do that, but I do it because people love to watch, and I want to help people and show them the value, show them the truth of how this thing actually works, how this machine goes. But these things on the back end, when it comes to mastering my emotions, comes to being extremely disciplined, working out every day, reading my books, putting the inputs in place that get me the right outputs, reading my Bible. Those things are what truly matter. The charts are all secondary because anybody can master the charts. Let me tell you a little story really quick. When I actually decided to move to Texas, where I'm currently at, I was in New York City. And me and my fiance, during COVID 2020, we got kicked right out of college because we were not trying to take the vaccine. And during that time, we were only about 7 months together. And my focus at the time was pure entrepreneurship, playing basketball. And when I decided to leave basketball, I decided, hey, like, school may not be for me. And COVID sparked that, and I essentially dropped out. And then she dropped out. And what we actually did was we just went to work. We went to grinding. We went to making money and doing all these things. But what we didn't realize was, one, we got pushed into that situation. it was a lot of things that we were taught or told to do, and people turned their back on us because, hey, you didn't go to college, you may not be successful, you may not do this, we thought you were going to do this, we supported you. And a lot of people looked at us a certain way, and it affected us negatively. We never actually took the time to step back and look at our emotions, look at how those things actually affected us. Fast forward a year later, we ended up moving from my hometown in New York City, where we lived for a while and we had a great time. We were with family. Being closer to her family actually was a great thing, but it actually affected us in another negative way, because it was me leaving from a place that broke me down, going to a place that broke her down, that she left. And we didn't realize like how those things actually affected us. So we ended up taking our stuff, packing our bags, and just shipping off to Texas. And all of these things that we deal with, all these things that we go through in life, they don't just walk away. They are beliefs. They are things that we believe in, things that we develop, things that may affect us negatively. The God, the universe, it's not looking at things in a subjective manner, whether it's good or bad. It's looking at these things in the sense of, hey, if you're acting in X way, or if you're wishing for X, then that's what I'm going to give you. And more than not, we often have negative beliefs. We often have things that we may do, or things that we may say, or things we may feel that may bring those negative actions back to us. So when we moved to Texas, we believe, hey, all those things are in the past. We completely detached from it. It's nothing there. We're going to be good. Things are going to change. And you realize that the life that you wish for, you are currently having, but you're still not happy. You realize that the life that you're hoping for or working towards, you think that's going to make you happy, but it's actually not. And I want to share these things that I'm dealing with now, that I'm breaking through, these things that I'm working on the back end. It's not just all charts. It's not all charts. It's not. It's a lot of things that you need to ask. It's questions you want to ask yourself. And this book, Master Your Emotions, is helping me actually break through that. And I want to share something that I actually wrote down in the book, as if it was a workbook, and kind of work through those emotions on the top 3 things that I've been dealing with that's negatively affecting me as a trader, as a a man, as a future husband, as a son, as a brother, whatever it is, uncle. It's affecting me, and I want to share these things with you really quick. Back to the book. As I look down here, the first thing it asks is like, what are these emotional issues that you have? And for me, I had to really think about it for a second. It was fear of failure, right? Fear of like not achieving success, like real success, because I dictate my success in my progress based off my monetary gain. I dictate my success and progress based off my personal development, right? I dictate my success in all these things based off who I am, who I was, and who I am now. So if all these things are the same, or if all these things are not really changing, and those results or outcomes are not happening, then I'm deemed not successful. And you have to believe a specific story that you tell yourself, or you have to tell yourself a specific thing for that to be true. So that was the first one. Fear of failure was the main thing that I dealt with. The next one was my pride and my ego. I realized that, yeah, I do a lot of tough stuff. I work on myself continuously. I don't party, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't BS, I don't waste time. You feel me? I don't do a lot of these things because it's not important to me. The value and the happiness I get is from actually working on my craft and building a life that I truly want. And that's what I do. But in doing those things, you develop a certain pride and ego behind certain things in life. Sometimes you may look at others like they're not doing enough. I recently had an issue with my little sister where I told her, like, listen, I despise lazy people. And that was me placing my value of how hard you work on if she was lazy or not. But in her eyes, she could be doing everything she can. But truly, that was my ego talking, because my ego is like, I got to do all these things. Why doesn't this person have to? And then the point that I wanted to get across was, hey, like, you got to fight for what you want. You got to fight for the life you have. But in the way I said it was like, I despise lazy people. I hate it. My exact words. And I had to challenge myself, because I always do this. I had to self-reflect, like, why do you believe that? And it's because I have such a big ego and pride. Maybe the things that I do, I don't truly love, or because I'm working so hard, maybe I feel a certain level of pressure, and I want others to understand the level of that pressure and be, content, or understand what that looks like. And then the last thing that I deal with that bothers me a ton is lack of patience, and my lack of patience with other people. For example, I'm somebody, when you go to an amusement park, you might go to the grocery store, you may be trying to go have some fun, and if it's 6 people in the house, I'm tracking how much time people spend in the shower, how long, not how much time they, but on average, like this person spends an hour in the shower. So we need to start now because I want to get there by this time. So I'm rushing people, or my lack of patience when I explain something and people don't catch on immediately. And then I'm like in their face. I'm like, what is, those things right there. Patience is a privilege. Patience is something that is a prerequisite to discipline. So patience is the mother of discipline. Without patience, there is no discipline. You have to have patience in order to have discipline. So these are the new things that you must tell yourself. So you must constantly go back and forth on yourself, on your beliefs. Where did you get these beliefs from? Who told you that you had to do this? Who told you you had to do it in this way? Who told you that failure was failure? Who told you all of these things? So the first thing I had to do is like, what are those top 3 things that bothered me? Fear of failure, pride in my ego, and lack of patience. The next thing I needed to do was like, what story should I tell myself for these things to be true? For example, fear of failure. Well, if I get a funded account and then I'm making $5, $6, $7, $8,000, and then next thing you know the account is gone, I fell. But it's like you didn't calculate the $8,000 you just made. You didn't calculate the $15,000 you just made. You understand? Or what was another story I told myself? It's like with fear of failure, it's like, well, if I'm not hitting 6 figures this year, then I'm obviously a failure. I've been doing this for a certain amount of time. I feel like I should do that. I have the skill set. I know it. That's goes into one, your fear of failure, understanding like you stop yourself from actually achieving something because you're stepping away because you want to do it faster. So as you can see, all these things overlap because that's your ego talking. Your ego always think he's better than what he is. Your patience wants you to get what you want faster. Your fear of failure is forcing you to do things that may avoid patience, may avoid discipline and all these things because it wants to get there quicker, right? What is the story you tell yourself behind these things? What are you constantly repeating to yourself? What are other people repeating to you that may be stopping you? What are those 3 things that's affecting you? It could be you got bad habits, you smoke too much, or you spend too much money over here. You may party, you may drink. You may listen to your parents and take their advice too much. You may not be decisive in your decisions. You need to take those 3 emotional things that you deal with. And the way you understand what those things are is when you get upset, when you get frustrated, where do you go? Where's that dark place? What are the things you start telling yourself? Me, something may happen. Let's say I get in a small argument with my fiance. We usually get over it, but I'm over here like, I need to get away from everybody. You're not a successful trader yet. You didn't hit $800,000, $1 million. You didn't do that yet. So it's like those things won't make you happy. Those things don't change your current state. Our brain actually adapts. In this book, Master Your Emotions, it talks about people who become disabled or paraplegic, right? Before, they're usually happy, but after that situation has happened or those circumstances hasn't happened to them, they are still eventually at the same level of happiness. Nothing changes in most of those people. And the reason is because our brain actually adapts to our life. So you thought 4 years ago, the life you have now, you would be a lot better off. But here we are 4 years later, you have adapted, and now you believe that the next 4 years are going to get you to that point. And these are the things we need to pay attention to. Essentially, what I did to take and knock down those 3 things, fear of failure or pride and ego or lack of patience, is I had to tell okay, for those things not to be true, what do I need to tell myself? Well, for me not to fear failure, you need to say, hey, temporary defeat is failure. Failure is temporary defeat. You only fail unless you quit. A temporary defeat is universal. Every great person who has ever built anything great has went through it. It's not something that's like isolated towards you. Everybody goes through it. Something like without failure, you can't grow, or these are the things that you need to actually develop. Failure actually gives you the proper tools and utensils to actually move forward. If you don't fail, you don't grow. If you don't fail or have temporary defeat, you won't succeed. You need that before you get there. So that everything you're dealing with right now is like, why do you fear it? You actually growing. You actually have an opportunity to learn, to iterate, and fix what you have been through. So that was for fear of failure. You have to tell yourself a new story. The failure that I deal with or temporary defeat that I deal with does not determine my self-worth. You have to be able to detach those goals from your person. You have to be able to build a specific self-confidence about you on that, like in that moment, and understand that whatever is happening in your business, whatever's happening in your life, your relationship with your family, with your health, whatever, you have to be able to detach that. It doesn't determine your self-worth. It's not your life. It's just a moment in your life. So understand that. The second thing I needed to do was deal with my pride and ego. Like, why do I have what would need to be true for me to avoid having this specific thing? And what new story am I going to tell myself? So some things like pride is the devil. That's just the devil trying to attack me, or ego is the enemy. I read a book by Ryan Holiday, Ego is the enemy. We often think we're better than what we are. We often are afraid of change, right? So it's like, hey, I'm a very curious person. I'm somebody who embraces change. I'm somebody who loves to be challenged in order for me to grow. Being challenged by external forces or external circumstances or whatever it is, that allows me to grow. Understanding that most people won't agree with me, and my way is not always the best way, and me being right is not always the right thing. It may be correct in a moment, but it may not be the right thing for that time. So understanding our ego is trying to drive and steer the horse, and we need to get our ego out of the way and understand that we need to take the wheel. We need to understand that, and then it's another level where we take the wheel and then we give it to Jesus, and then he gives us the way. So understanding that we can, if we let our ego try to dictate, then we'll continue to hit roadblocks. We'll continue to get in the way of our success. We'll continue to let our emotions take over us. And then the last thing was patience. What new story do I need to tell myself about patience? Hey, well, I don't like to be rushed, so why rush other people? Or sometimes I don't catch on to things as fast as I need to when people introduce things to me in a certain way. Or understanding that people like strived and they just went for shit for like 10, 20 years plus and didn't see success. Nelson Mandela got put in prison for 20 years plus, and he constantly just sat in there, he learned, he built something, came out and became a legend, became somebody that people follow, believed in, and he built change around, the world globally. He's known globally, but he got put in prison for wrongfully, and then 20 years sitting in there grinding, becoming who he needed to become, and then all that patience, all that discipline, all those things allow him to become Nelson Mandela. So understanding that patience is a privilege. It's something that we must have in order for us to exercise discipline. And without discipline or patience, you won't be successful. You can have all the other things in life, but those two things, without them, you will not be successful. You know what I mean? Thomas Edison. Everybody know, 10,000 tries before he actually managed to, it's probably more than 10,000. But people always say, hey, 10,000 tries or 10,000 hours to become a master at a specific skill set. That requires patience and discipline, but patience first, because you have to get through the 10,000 hours, and discipline is you sticking to it and executing at a high level for those 10,000 hours. So these are the 3 things I wanted to share with you today because they definitely helped me. I know I'm not going deep into the book. This is a specific section of the book, but this is a specific section that helped me. Hey, what emotional issues do I have? What story would I have to believe for those issues to be true? And then what is the new story that I need to tell myself in order for those things to not be true, in order for me to believe something different? And that's what we need to do. We need to challenge ourselves and challenge what someone may have told us. Even last year, even last week, you may have a new belief. Go collect beliefs and be able to implement them, be able to understand them, and then use them in your life. Speak to other people with those specific beliefs, because they allow you to actually stand on that and do that. And these are the things that we need to do. So for me, the 3 things that I'm gonna be working on is get rid of fear of failure, start operating out of faith, focus on my pride and my ego and eliminating it from the things that I do in a professional life, in my personal life, and then also just exercising patience, because patience is the mother of discipline. And without patience or discipline, you will not be successful. And for you, just take these 3 things, take this little blueprint, go buy the book, Master Your Emotions, whatever you want to do, and then do this exercise, because it will help you succeed. It will help you find little areas of your life that you could be better at, and that just allows you to be 1% better. Self-awareness is understanding whether we're operating out of a above the line or below the line. Above the line is curiousness, openness, trying to be better, focus on all these things, and then below the line is just simple, just stubborn, not trying to hear, don't want to grow, I can't grow, I'm not doing it, pessimistic. That's not what we want. Remember, we do have a goal to hit 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Love you, I appreciate y'all. Drop a comment. I know this is not the video y'all want to see, but it's a video that's going to help me, help you. So I got to put it out there.